Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to present the technical seminar on joint design of communication and sensing for beyond 5G and 6G systems. And these are the things we go through in the upcoming slides in abstract. The first point is about creating the authentic digital world in physical world by using the 6G and 5G to obtain the radar sensing in mobile communication network as a sensor. The network we use are 5G in 5G is millimeter bands and in 6G is sub-terahertz bands. In this joint communication and sensing system, that is JCAS system, we try to bring both the communication and sensing together. And in several research techniques, NR air interface was fine as it reduced the sensing overhead and signaling overhead by the factor of 2.67. And we can further take the JCAS system by using the massive MIMO technology in order to pave the way towards the integrated JCAS system in 6Gs. The introduction part. The fifth generation telephony, that is 5G, or the fifth generation of the wireless communication systems with the NR new radio, yields the high data rates with the ultra high reliable and low latency. Because of this, the industry 4.0 have started integrating the 5G in their designs. And several research and academic industries led to the shifting towards the 6G, that is for simultaneous communication and sensing. This can be achieved by turning all the sensor to create the digital sixth sense in the physical world. This will be like mixing the mixed reality digital worlds. Beyond pure communications. Today, in today's LTE, we use the LTE positioning protocol, that is LPP, and NRPPA, that is an NR positioning protocol A, to locate or position the user equipment or any object or device. In NRPPA, by using the different methods like the uplink or the downlink signals with the different arrival angle or the arrivals can be determined by using the can be determined the user's localization or positions. By this, the localization by the NRPP or LPP provides a benefit, especially for the indoor scenarios where the global navigation satellite system, that is GNSS, reception is too weak. The network sensing refers to the detection of the presence of the object and their shapes, their location, speed of the movement, and which direction it is moving by using the radio signals transmitted in and received by the network elements. And this all things can be done by using the sensor fusion, that is the combining the different sensors like the location tags, accelerometer, gyroscope, cameras, etc. for bringing all the inputs into one and processing it. By this, we can locate the object or the individual. Let us talk about the 5G and 6G first. By using the larger bandwidth in a smaller cells provides the sensing and the communication in mobiles. 5G uses millimeter wave spectrum, which are much shorter compared to the 4Gs, but it can handle the larger data, that is up to the 20 times faster than the 4G. The 3GPP's 5G frequency in the United States America has the frequency range of 71 gigahertz, but the maximum frequency researched on the 5G can reach up to the 90 gigahertz. The 5G is made possible by the help of the distributed massive MIMO. That is the multiple input and the multiple output. The massive MIMO. Instead of broadcasting the data throughout the entire coverage area, we concentrate on the single energy to the specific user by the beamforming. It is like this is let us assume this is an antenna. A single antenna can disperse the signal in this much of the range. So to direct the beam range, we can make the two antennas work together with the same energy. That time the beam forming happens in this shape. That is, we can accurately point towards the user in a particular direction, and it can cover the more range compared to this. So massive MIMO, we arrange the in massive MIMO, we in a single tower we arrange up to 64 to 128 antennas. That is by, let us take example of 4 antennas together, and when we give the same energy, the single bandwidth of the beamforming can goes up to the higher coverage, and it can reach the particular user with the same particular user in which who are in the more distance. To if you want to split the in its coverage, if the second user enters, that time we can split the energy into the two. We get the two beamforming of half of the energy which is of previous. If the user moves to the particular direction or moving in a particular direction, we can use the phase shifters in a particular angle to make the beam direct towards a particular direction. So in this manner, we can arrange up to the 128 antennas in a single tower to reach the massive coverage and up to the particular user. The uplink in 5G uses the SDFDMA. In downlink, we use the OFDMA. This is used in sensing for objects, and this is also used for sensing of the object, vehicles, micro movement, and detection of the people, identification, and individual this signal can be also used for informant service like the videos, audio, multimedia, and data of the passengers, etc. This is quite a lot similar like the LTE what we use. This is how the massive MIMO looks like. This is our normal antenna which disperses the signal in the whole and in massive MIMO we point towards a particular user. This is how the massive MIMO tower look like. The 6G. In 6G, end-to-end is a AI, native air interface. Means 6G is completely AI and machine learning network. The end-to-end are AI encrypted. The 6G's maximum frequency up to the 10 terahertz. The researchers have proposed in 5G we use the SDFDMA and OFDMA for uplink and downlink. In the similar manner, in 6G we use NOMA, that is non-orthogonal multiple access. Or and some research suggests that the rate splitting multiple access, that is RSMA, as a new access technology for 6G communication. In NOMA, that is a non-orthogonal multiple access, the several multiple users using the same resources are given to the more users, and by this it is more reliable and have the low latency. Depending upon the domain, the NOMA is differentiated into two, that is power domain and the core domain, for helping the beamforming and duplexing, etc. In RSMA, we split the message into the common and the private, and thus helps in gaining the more heterogeneity of in QoS and high throughput. The positioning, okay. End-to-end AI network which uses the flexible duplex method, the ultra-high reliable precise positioning will become the available with 6G due to the high-end imaging and the direction finding sensors, just like the human ears and eyes. The 6G will be equipped with the capable robot and the intelligent algorithms. Thus by this, the 6G technology is 1,000 times more efficient than the 5G. This is the visualization of NOMA. Let us see the difference between the 5G and 6G. The maximum frequency in 5G is 90 gigahertz and 6G is 10 terahertz. The peak data rate in 5G can go up to 10 gigabits per second and 61 terabits per second. The technology used in 5G are millimeter wave communication along with RIS technology, that is reconfigurable intelligent service technology. And in 6G, we use the terahertz communication technology. The latency of the 5G is 10 millisecond and in 6G is 1 millisecond, 10 times much better than 5G. The integration for the satellite integration on the 5G we need of terrestrial networks, but in 6G we don't need any terrestrial network. That directly we communicate to the direct communication through the satellite, that is by using the LEO satellites, low earth orbit satellites. These satellites orbit around at the height of 160 kilometers to 1000 kilometers from the height of the architecture is used in is 5G is massive MIMO and 6G is end-to-end AI. The positioning precision, that because as we are using the 5G for the sensing, so positioning precision of the 5G needs can go up to the meter level of the precise, and in 6G we get the precision up to centimeter levels. The mobility support. The mobility support in 5G is up to 500 kilometers. In 6G is 1000 kilometers. And in future, this might be less as the vehicle can go reach up to 1200 kilometers per hour. The basic scenarios. Here we can see that the multiple cell interference of the JCAS system equipped with the array antennas capable of the beam forming, which are used for both sensing and the high rate and low latency communication simultaneously. Here we describe the key concept for the efficient co-design of the communication with the radar frequency and sensing. Next is drivers for integration of sensing and communication in future mobile cellular system. In the present world, we have the technologies like the radar system for detection and ranging, but we use only for particular use, like for either in military for detecting the aircraft. In the similar manner, we use the in signals for only for communication. Similarly, and so our aim is to bring these two together to integrate into one, so that our mobile can have both the communication and sensing together. Thus, to bring this, we use either 5G or 6G. The key drivers for this designs is sensing capabilities into the mobile network are the radio frequency signals, like radio frequency signals and privacy. And spectrum is a scarce resource, and we should use that on a particular as per the particular needs. The RF signals introduce less on the privacy, intruding than the cameras, because in cameras we get the visualization of the everything and is stored in the server or cloud. For example, in Tesla Motors, there will be cameras which gain the access without your permission, and it records everything and send it to the server for processing or gaining the orders or any for other things. So by using the RF signals, this will introduce less on the privacies, and this benefits because in real world environment with the dust, bad weather, cameras may not work well. So the RF signals can penetrate without any hesitation. In recent advances, AI and the ML pave the way for AI for the integral part of the design of beyond 5G and 6G communication. And this helps in dual functioning capabilities, sensing application and the requirements. These are the requirements that are necessary for bringing both sensing and the communication together. For this, the traffic monitoring, pedestrian detection, parked vehicle detection, drone detection around the corner, these are the sensing types, and these are the resolution for the particular system, and these are the maximum speed that is necessary for the object or the person to have, or this up to this is the maximum speed that the sensor can accurately measure the object or the individual. Now, for the traffic monitoring, the range resolution should be smaller than the typical vehicle size, and the maximum speed can go up to 40 meter per second. And pedestrian detection, it is of the range of up to tens of centimeters. The speed of the person should not cross 3 meter per second. For parked vehicle detection, it must be 50 centimeter, and the maximum speed is not applicable as it is stationary. And drone detection, we need the maximum speed of up to, it can detect up to 30 meter per second. The around the corner, this is quite challenging for the sensors as it involves the non-linear sight of perspective, as the corner vehicles can't be seen directly. Motion sensing, that is whether the any item are moving or not. To detect that, we need the maximum speed up to 1 meter per second. And by this, when we by using this, we can bring the improvement in the road safety, as every sensors are integrated or communicating with each other. If even the car or traffic sensor interact with each other, the sensor can send the warning to the drivers. By if any pedestrian comes in between the vehicle on, at that time the sensor of the traffic can send the signal to the car. This is the same thing which I explained. The accurate localization and tracking of the large passive objects, that is for detecting any unidentified objects or visualizing the objects. We can use this for collision avoidance between the autonomous guided vehicles or any other mobile robots or peoples, to ensure the better safety. And future sensor generation beyond the 5G are expected to play even stronger role in the industrial environment, including the sensing capabilities for the factories. System designs and technologies. These are the system resources that are used in JCA systems, and these are the system services. And space, we use the beam direction and the shape for the using for the particular user equipment. For that, in radar, we use for volume coverage, and in communication throughput and the coverage. In time, uh, burst frequency and the beam revisit rates. And for sensing, we depend upon the time interval between different periodic beam allocations, which determine the burst frequencies and burst durations to determine the particular location. And for communication purpose, how soon the transmission are available immediately after the packet arrival in the base station or the user equipment in certain beam directions, determining the beam forming and the communication capabilities. The frequencies used in frequencies signal bandwidth, the resource. In radar, it is used for range resolution and throughput or the reliability. And power, the power or linearization and power consumption is becomes the main resource or the factor. In radar, we use it for the volume coverage, and in communication throughput and the coverage. As we use the cells, as we use the 5G or the 6G, power becomes a key system. Sorry. The waveforms in the processing, PAPR and the RF impact. PAPR stands for the peak to average power ratios. In 5G systems, we use OFDMA as a provided excellent as it provides the excellent multiplexing in time and frequency domain, and we use the cyclic prefix that helps in linear conversion of the turn into cyclic convolution during the transmission. And because of the OFDMA PAPR, the energy efficiency of the transmitter is reduced. As we know that the in LTE, PAPR is tackled by using the SCFDMA, and in similar way, we use the we use the SCFDMA in 5G to tackle the PAPR. Therefore, in 5G, in new radio uplink, we use the SCFDMA in place of OFDMA. In 6G, PAPR is reduced as the carrier frequency of sub-teraband hertz. But in 6G, we don't consider the PAPR as most of the devices are battery-less devices, where the devices are remotely and intelligently powered by network itself. Thus, 6G is 1,000 times more efficient compared to the 5G. The full duplex. The 5G is based on either FDD or TDD. This is the simultaneous transmission and reception that would create the self-interference. This self-interference can be mitigated by using the array antenna separations, and the radar in radar, the transmission and reception is obtained by partitioning the array into the two equal size subarrays. In data, we use both subarrays either for transmission and reception. Thus, by this, the interference in 5G for radar sensing as well as the communication is tackled. JCIS waveform candidates. The different waveforms or the waveform candidates which we use in JCIS systems. KPI is the key performance indicator for the PAPR full duplex effect. We can see that the three users, that is FMCW, that is frequency modulated continuous wave radar, OFDMA, and signal carrier are used a single waveform. And in last two, we can see that the both are mixed together. That is the two uses for the first one is used for the sensing, and second one is for communication. By bringing both together, we bring the radar sensing and communication together. Integration of the radar cell mobile communication systems. We consider the design of the radar excitation signal to be enable the computation of the range, velocity, and angle of the target, often called as radar cube, and from the reflected radar signals. This is similar as the beam sweep typically used for transmission of the NR synchronized signals. That is, by using the radar cube, all the data sent to the radar base stations, which are equipped with the antenna array, can be analyzed and determined by the covered cells. In the case of the loaded cells, the overhead of the sensing can be further reduced, since the sensing signals can be used also for data transmission, and there is a good chance of having the active communication user in the direction of the sensing. That is, we use both the communication and direction. Means if one is using the communication, we can use the same signal for radar sensing. Thus, by using this, we can determine the motion and the direction of the object. And in the table gives the requirement of the road traffic monitoring. As we taken the road traffic monitoring as example, these are the requirements that is necessary for road traffic monitoring. The range resolution must be 1 less than or maximum up to 1 meter. The maximum range is up to 80 meters, and the velocity resolution is up to 10 kilometers per hour. Minimum velocity is minus 150 kmph, and maximum velocity is up to plus 150 kmph. Here the negative and the minimum and the maximum velocity, that is the effective velocity range of the radar, that is determined for the relative velocity, either determining whether it is moving either left or right direction. But if the motions or the object's motion we know in the if we know previously, we can take the minimum as a 0 kmph and maximum up to 300 kmph. These are the signal parameters. And the minimum subcarrier spacing and its dependency, the NR at say 28 gigahertz. The minimum subcarrier spacing is 120 kilohertz, that supports the target velocity up to 230 kmph. In the guard interval is the time interval until the latest radar echo signals is received in the receiver, and that is up to normal cyclic prefix of the NR, which supports up to the range of 88 meters with the 128 kilohertz of subcarrier spacing. The minimum bandwidth required is up to 150 megahertz. The burst duration is of 2 milliseconds. The burst duration here is the time required for computing the echoed signals. The maximum time domain spacing is of the 7 symbols, which is similar to the LTE. The maximum frequency domain spacing is of the 15 subcarriers. The radar interference cancellation. Whenever the base station 1 is receiving the echoed signal of the object, there might be a base station 2 sending the signals. That time the interference occurs. But we can notice that the interference occurs only at the receiver end of the base station, not in the transmitter end. And this can be tackled by knowing the radar signal transmitted by the neighbor cell and the receiver cell, and thus by reconstructing the intercell interference from the respective neighboring cells. The multiband sensing, the multiband communication, that is using the band signals as per the application required, like how the low band in the radar signals can be used for the blind spot detection or parking or pre-crash uses or applications, and the high band waves of the radar signals can be used for the automatic cruise control. By combining the low and the high band signals has become the applicable with the carrier aggregation in the NR and interface, which we can extend up to the terahertz band frequencies. Next we goes up to the need of the advanced signal processing concept enhanced by the AI and ML. AI or the ML are the base for the 5G or 6G systems, and 5G it partially depending upon the AI for the communication, and 6G is completely AI based system. And deep learning has been used for the variety of the sensings, like the either identification or of the size, shape, materials, or possibly micro movements, etc. The radar based full motion detection and the localization of the multiple objects of the various classes in a single complex frame. With the massive MIMO antenna, deep learning has already been used in several research places, and the principle could be carried over the passive localization through the radar. Further visions for the advanced JCS design. In this figure, we can see that the distributed massive MIMO both for used for communication and sensing together. Sensing together after JCS system. Here the JCS system enable and employ the distributed massive MIMO for both the robust communication and precise active localization. The challenges, the requirement of the 5G device and the new algorithms are necessary for the more efficient communication and sensing. As the 5G is new, the new algorithms are necessary for bringing up both communication and sensing together in the processors. New channel modeling such as the GANs could be interesting approach for the model channels efficiently for the JCAs. And GAN is the generative adversarial network. This is a machine learning based model created to make new data instances by resembling the previous data or the data models. And the need of the having the knowledge of complete knowledge about the neighboring cells. To tackle the interference from the neighboring cells, we need this. Else we can't complete the radar sensing and communication together. And new waveform candidate schemes, such as used in the OTFS scheme, that is orthogonal time frequency and spacing scheme, which may especially suited for the high velocity and the high delay spread channels. In 2D modulation techniques, that transforms the information carried in delays or the Doppler coordination systems. So the OTFS is used in 2D modulation techniques, that is transfers information carried in delayed Doppler coordination systems. So we can use the same waveforms for the 5G and 6G. And the conclusion and the design of the beyond 5G and the 6G JCA systems will benefit both the society as well as the industries from 4.0. At present, with the alone only with the 10% of the resources, 5G has 5G has fulfilled the most of the sensing requirements in its basic form. The 6G system will very likely to have the AI or ML processing from the scratch, as well as the massive and the distributed MIMO in their design, and this will welcome tools for processing the JCA system, and that is along with the distributed MIMO and the distributed base station, we can bring the both robustness and reliability together. We can increase the robustness and reliability. The distributed coordinated base station, both can boost the robustness and communication system to meet the extreme reliable requirement, as well as provide the attractive distributed radar systems possibilities. And these are the few references which I have gone through. Yes, sir.
Hello, Abhishek. Hello,
Yes, sir.
I'm audible. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Audible.
uh, let me ask some few. Uh, your presentation is good. We congratulate your presentation. It's now because the topic is very good. Topic you have selected a very good topic which is required. Communication student should know all these things. And now the first question is the difference between 5G and 6G you said 6G
Yes, sir.
whether it is existing in the world or that is in the implementation stage because there are a lot many advantages you said 6G is better than 5G but 5G as far as our this one is concerned 5G that is coming up 5G it is not totally implemented only in particular area only it is can you just give clarity on this.
Yes, sir. Sir, in 6G, it is in a researching stage. Researching stage in Japan's the company named Bell Laboratory is working on this in the 6G, and in some part of the China is already implemented the 6G as for their communication. In 5G, sir, most of the European nations are working on 5G. So
Okay.
up to
Yeah.
most of the
No.
part 5G is being used in most of the European parts.
But one basic question in microwave technology, because up to 100 gigahertz can be modulated, But 6G, that is, you are saying that 1 terabits per second digital
Yes,
communication.
sir.
So whether semiconductor technology is supporting or not, material science, material technology, whether it is supporting or not, because they are trying their level best. Whether it is practicable in future, 6G is not that much easy. Can you give clarity on this? Semiconductor technology,
Uh,
there is a limitation on semiconductor technology.
yes, sir.
Hello.
Uh, yes, sir. I got the question.
Yes.
So you are saying that the 6G can be tackled or have the limitations of because of the semiconductors.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay. Sir, as per the research, the 6G uses the direct to direct communication through the satellite, and the 6G devices are more advanced and sophisticated compared to our current devices. So I think they can be possible that it can reach up to 3 terahertz of frequencies.
3 terahertz. But at present, because in the world, this is a very faster, no doubt in that, because you said 1 terabits per second, it's a fastest communication.
Yes,
But
sir.
it is in the research stage. Still, it may come up, you're saying,
Yes,
isn't
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you brief about gyroscope? What is the function of gyroscope? Why in radar technology they are using gyroscope? Can you brief about the gyroscope? What is the function of gyroscope?
So gyroscope is used for detecting the uh, center of gravity or the balancing thing. Means, like for example, if the mobile, sir, like to find the center
Yeah.
of the gravity of any object, we use the gyroscope. If the there are the example of the self balancing bike, which detects the whether it is leaning or leaning to the right or left depending upon the gyroscope input. So gyroscope checks the gravity or the
That,
actual.
that means it is extensively used in helicopters and aircrafts also. This
Yes, sir.
particular gyro,
Yes, sir.
because as far as our knowledge is concerned, optical gyroscopes are better than mechanical gyroscopes. So gyroscopes are used in for aircrafts, helicopters, and jet aircrafts. I think I'm correct. It seems.
Yes, sir, it is being used.
Okay. Now, what is Doppler radar? What is a Doppler?
So Doppler in most of the radars are depending upon this Doppler or radar technology. Means when the transmitter sends the radar signals, it either detects the metal object or any solid object and bounces back or returns back as a accord signal. And and this accord signal, there will be a Doppler shift between the Doppler shift considered to the previous transmitter signal. So by considering this Doppler shift, we can determine whether the target is moving in which particular direction, or whether it is doing towards the radar or transmitter, and or it is moving away from the transmitter by using the Doppler. Um,
Yes, yes,
do,
Doppler. You can,
change,
yeah,
yes, sir.
moving target indicators that can be that is used, and receding object, approaching object, that can be easily determined. You want to say that one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And one more question. You said that at the end, you are saying that 6G totally based on artificial intelligence and machine learning, and
Yes, sir.
whether 5G and 4G, whether they can it be used, this particular AI and ML?
Does 4G, no, sir, but 5G, partially 5G is partially depending upon the AI for its processing, because
Okay,
5G is used in the different fields like the virtual reality or brain computer interface communication, all those things. So that for those processing things, we need 5G to access AI or the machine learning things.
fine, 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 fine. Okay then.
Yes,
Now my colleagues will be asking questions. Okay, okay.
Okay, Abhishek.
yes, sir.
Okay, so well presented topic. Okay. Hmm? So I have this one question. Okay, so sensing, right? So along with communication, you said sensing, right? So
Yes,
can
sir.
you tell any scenario where sensing is being done currently? Now, any sensing application, can you tell? Give a real world scenario of sensing application which is currently being,
Okay, sir.
used anywhere.
Uh, sir, in automobiles, so fully autonomous
Yeah.
vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
In fully
Continue.
autonomous vehicles, we use the sensing as a part. Along with the cameras and the different sensors, we determine the path or identifying the around vehicles. We use the sensors for determining the distance between the two cars.
Okay. So now you are telling that currently only sensors are being used without any help from the cellular network, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
you
Yes, sir.
gave us an idea where the whole cellular network infrastructure can be
Yes, sir.
used for the same thing, right? So now the police guy need not have that vehicle with the radar on it. The network only can predict maybe who is over speeding or what.
Uh, kind of.
Okay, then powered network. So how do you think of reducing the latency, by the way? So the sensing, right? A car moving at 140 miles per hour, that's how the future is going to
That
look
is.
like, I guess. So toward the 1,000 kilometers, right?
Yes, sir.
So latency is an issue, right? You send, control signals, then the actual signal traveling to and fro. So how do you take care? What factors will come into picture when you say latency is going to be reduced? Okay, I don't. Yeah, give it a try. What do you think?
Sir, in latency, latency means delay in transferring the data from the transmitter to the users.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So depending upon the mobility support, that is depending upon the mobility support, the latency can be determined because
No,
the
no.
if the
How? Huh.
because if the user is moving at the more than the limited speed,
Hmm.
that time the data can't reach the user.
Okay, fine. Okay, I just asked it. It's a complicated thing. Yeah. Then suddenly there were antennas, right? In 4G now currently, in our textbook we are talking only about antennas in cellular network. You are talking about radar. Now, what is this radar thing? I did not understand. Are they the same antennas which are working as radar now?
At present, sir, no, sir, they are different.
Okay. So you are telling that there are going to be radars, and then there are antennas which are trying to communicate. Is that
No,
what you are
sir.
telling? Hmm.
No, in future we want to integrate both communication and sensing in a small device like our mobile. So antenna, the tower or the antennas can do the both. Like it can take the radar signals as well as the our communication signals together.
Okay, fine. Okay. So HOD had asked several questions which has cleared most of our doubts. Okay. So anybody else, by the way, students, any doubts? Nice topic. It's a continuation of what we are studying, by the way. Okay, forced on him the topic, but it has been well executed by him. So anybody else? Srishal sir, students, anybody? Be curious, ask some doubts. Okay, not to trouble him. Out of your interest, you can ask things. Anybody? Srishal sir has asked a question about GIS, right? Something like that. Abhishek, did you see that question? Srishal sir has asked a question. Can you answer that?
What is GIS? So the GIS or RIS?
Maybe in the last but few slides you had that term, right? Just before conclusion somewhere. Maybe you can go.
GANS, sir. GANS it is. How do you relate it to sensing?
Some similar term was there. Maybe you can go to those. Yes, yeah, there is.
Okay, okay. Geographic information systems. Okay. Sir, you want me to say how GIS is related to it to sensing? Mission sensing. So for in 5G in geographic information systems we use GNSS. That includes the RIS technology. The RIS technology is reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, which uses the millimeter wave band. That is that instead of sending from directly to the directly it re, okay. Sir, in sir for the geographic information systems in 5G we use RIS technology, the GNSS. In RIS, reconfigurable intelligence surface, uh, that consists of the three different models again, like the system model, reflection model, and channel model. By this, we can determine the location of a particular device. I did not went through the GIS technologies. Okay, also the GPS is supported by the present cellular system. So how it will improve in 5G and 6G? So okay, and the answer in GPS, the location is known by using the GPRS of the of the user, I guess. So in 5G and 6G, we can improve. Uh, in 6G, it can directly determine because it is directly communicated, and the 6G devices are directly communicated with the satellites. The which are in the LEOs. So for that, in 6G, we might not need a GPS for detecting the position, but in 5G I did not went through much. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Abhishek, what is this GPS by the way? Is GPS related to our cellular thing or it's a separate entity? It's a service provided by some different vendor to this cellular service provider, GPS services.
So the GPS is, so first GPS was used by the US Air Force, I guess, and they
Uh,
lend it to the use lend it to us for the public use.
so it's not been taken handled, right? They simply use it, right? Use those services. So you
Yes,
are
sir.
telling that your 6G is going to have its own set of satellites for positioning this sensing purposes.
Actually, sir, 6G is directly linked to the satellite. So by knowing the for that time for that purpose, we might not need a separate GPS for positioning.
Okay, okay. But it will be interesting, right? Because satellites are notorious for the delay, right? And we are talking about 6G being fast and all those things. Anyway, okay. So we have covered a lot of topics. Anybody else? Students? Anybody? Very interesting topic. Very vast topic. Anybody? Any doubts? Zaid has raised his hand. I don't know why. Students? Anybody? Any doubts? Any queries? Very interesting topic. So that's it, I guess. So Abhishek, well done. Okay, today we had also one more presentation actually by Darshan, which was on the latest Wi-Fi. So I thought it would be a nice comparison and information. Unfortunately, it could not do it. So maybe in the next session. Okay, so there will compare, how this 6G and Wi-Fi will compete with each other or complement each other. Okay, it will be interesting. So once again, Abhishek, very well covered
Yes.
topic, nicely presented. Okay, so let us discuss.
Thank you.